Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast, and we are really excited today. We're talking with our first costume designer. I've never talked to a costume designer before, so I'm very excited about it. We're talking with Erin Benach, who is the costume designer for the new Apple Plus, for the new Apple TV movie Spirited. And I really enjoyed the movie, so I'm really grateful to get a chance to talk with you. And thank you so much, Erin, for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Rachel.
Yes. So I'd like to learn a little bit more about your background and how you got started. How did you become a costume designer?
I let's see. I first interned on a movie in New York back in the early O's. I had a lot of interest in doing fashion design. I would be making stuff all the time in my sewing machine at home, and I just had a lot of, I had a, I don't know, magnetic pull towards clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was a graphic designer at the time. I had just graduated college and I was designing books for Penguin, and I was starting to take night classes at FIT. And I met somebody who said, "Oh yeah, if you want to intern at a bar, if you want to intern on a movie, you should reach out to me." So I did. I followed through. I said I'd really love to intern on a movie. I took 2 weeks vacation, my 2 weeks vacation from Penguin, and I went and interned on a movie, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hooked.
Mm-hmm.
I gotten the bug. It's really, really, really long hours, really hard work, especially as a PA and an assistant. There's quite a lot of pressure, you'd
Sure.
think you were saving lives, but we're not. Um, just the nature of production is you kind of you can't not have it. You kind of have to solve it and have it somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've learned a lot on the job, and I interned, I PA'd and assisted for, the next 15 years, and
Mm-hmm.
just learned on the job.
Yeah. And so then somebody finally was like, okay, we're ready to give you the big break
Yeah.
from being assistant. So that must have been
Y-
amazing, exciting.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even think that was going to be the moment necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just fell in with a really great group of filmmakers in the very
Mm-hmm.
beginning. And, between the producers and the director and the actors, we all made a few films together early
Mm-hmm.
on, and kind of became a little bit of like, supportive film community.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Lynette Howell, Jamie Patricoff, Ryan Gosling, Mariella Comatini, Beth Mickle. These are all the people.
Yeah. Yeah. I was looking over your filmography and I was blown away. I mean, you have done incredible work. I mean, iconic. I mean,
Rachel.
the costumes in Drive. I mean, that iconic jacket. Like, I mean, we could probably spend an hour and asking you about all these projects because there's some of amazing, amazing work.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Uh, I and
Thank
I'm
you.
yeah. So you've done everything from Drive to Loving to Birds of Prey to your Spirited. And I'm curious, uh is it harder to do a period piece versus and where you're trying to get a specific time versus like a completely original setting like you have sometimes in Spirited and some other movies?
Yeah, it's just different. Period has its own challenges where maybe it's too long ago. So you can't really go to a thrift shop or a vintage shop and
Yeah.
find it. So it's harder financially to do big period pieces if you don't have the money. So that could
Hmm.
be challenging for that reason. But a lot of rental houses. We access a lot of rental houses in LA and New York, and not really New York, LA and London,
Yeah.
um, have the biggest ones for period big crowd type films.
Hmm.
But mostly we build it. Modern day has its own challenges in making something iconic in a sea where everybody is kind of basically has like clothing fatigue. They feel like they've seen everything, and
Hmm.
how do you make it iconic and make it pop and make it something that people are gonna remember as being this character only.
Hmm.
So that's challenge.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast.
Calling all Pride and Prejudice fans, Lizzie Shane, the award-winning author of the Pine Hollow series, has a brand new small-town romance on the shelves. And this time, it has a Jane Austen twist.
In Pride and Puppies, a Jane Austen fan struggling to find her modern-day Mr. Darcy decides to swear off men and adopt an adorable puppy, only to find herself catching feelings for her sweet, not at all Darcy-esque neighbor.
Lizzie Shane's Pine Hollow series has been called an irresistible blend of heart, humor, and a whole lot of puppy love.
Don't miss Pride and Puppies, available now wherever books are sold.
To learn more, visit www.lizzieshane.com or use our affiliate link in the description.
That's lizzieshane.com.
And then
Yeah, 'cause
fantasy.
in Spirited, you kind of had everything. You had fantasy costumes, you had period costumes, and you had modern costumes.
Exactly. And but I took the movie.
So that must have been challenging.
It was. I mean, that's the fun of it. I love all of it. That I can't say I'm a costume designer that likes one kind of costuming or anything. I think all of us costume designers kind of like all of it. We just love personally, I just love to sketch, design, build, so if it can be something that I can come up with like in my head, and then make it and have to make it. I love that.
Yeah.
And I got to do all three in this movie, which was so lucky for me.
Mm-hmm. So how much freedom do you have as a designer in designing the costumes, or are they somewhat dictated to you by the director, producers, other people involved, if this is exactly what we want?
Yeah, I mean, I've been quite lucky in my career that I've not really gotten myself onto a project where I've had a lot of constraints. Typically, I will read a script will come in, I will read it, I will I'll have a pretty good idea based on the tone and the story and the director, in their previous work, like what they might want what I think it should be.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of usually pitch that in my interview, or at least I listen to what they want. And if it's something they want and I'm like, ugh, like tactical military gear, black on black for everybody, I'm like, pass, next movie.
Yeah.
And then if it's something, usually it's like I'm kind of on the same page as they are. And then we work together. I mean, I was just telling a story about how when I was designing the Ghost of Christmas Past, Sunita Mani's costumes, at first I designed something, my initial thought for it was kind of flowy and a little bit more ethereal and almost angelic like, and like a long flowing gown with some lace. And at first, Sean, our director, really loved it, but then he's like, you know what, I think you should make it like cool and young and like hip and like, what I mean when I say that. You interpret that, go interpret that. And I was like, okay, and it was it was super fun. It was like a really great, it pushed me to like come up with something even more interesting. And I did, and it worked out. And I think it's more collaborative, if anything, than being dictated to.
So in this movie, you have all the choreography that you have to that they have, and so you have to make the costumes work as a whole as part of group scenes. Was that challenging?
Yes, I worked very closely with our choreographer, Chloe, to come up with a color palette and a grouping of colors and characters within the dancing. So we would give them a corresponding t-shirt color, and I would watch the practices, and I would see how the groups would flow.
Oh, that's
and
interesting.
and she would kind of be like, oh yeah, we should make that group red, and let's make this group. And we, at some point, we had 4 colors, and we cut a color out because it just dynamically it didn't work with the dance.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
You had a lot of hats in this movie, and so that must have been fun to kind of design these hats.
Oh my gosh, totally. I came up with this, or I should say I found a picture of this woven top hat, and I really wanted everybody in the movie to have a woven top hat that basically meant like a structured hat that I would have to 3D print.
Uh-huh.
It was way too expensive. I couldn't do it. I got to make 3 though. And you can see him sort of in the ghost world, like costume montage in that scene. You see some of the people wearing it. A couple of
Oh,
dancers.
really? So you got to do 3 of them?
Yeah. You'll have to watch slowly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, but yeah, I love doing hats.
Mhm. So for Spirited, were most of the costumes like selected or handmade? Like did you?
Everything, not a thing was selected other than like some black, like the black pants or skirts.
Yeah.
Everything.
Wow.
Every single thing in Will's line, every single thing in Ryan. Ryan wore a couple of pre-made suits, but all his black suit we made, obviously the Santa suit we made, yeah, everything was built and created and made.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
And
it
I
was
mean,
fun.
and it's not just like I said, even the details, like the jewelry that people are wearing, everything from the I know there's thought gone into every part of from the shoes to the hat all the way up.
It's true, Rachel. Every little element, every shoe. We painted all the shoes. So, oh yeah, okay. So we got to. So I basically we designed these outfits for. I think it was a Christmas morning feeling, or was it? I think it was Christmas morning feeling, and we painted the shoe to match the fabric of the most interesting fabric. Let's say it was a plaid or a floral in the main part of the dancer's costume. So then their tap shoe would have the exact same fabric. Essentially, we painted it on.
Oh, that's I didn't realize that. That's interesting.
I know you barely got to see it. There was a really cool shot that they did do of all the tap dancers on chairs, and then they pan up and you see how it matches. But yeah, it didn't make it the final cut.
How much time do you have for a movie like Spirited to make all these costumes and to do
4 months?
4 months.
4 months, which sounds maybe like a lot, but it's not.
Yeah, no.
Even the costumes for the 1800 scene we made, because when you rent clothing like that, you have one, and typically a dancer can't dance in that,
right?
Because it doesn't have 360 movement. That clothing is very, very like constrictive, and like you can maybe walk, but you can't do high kicks and dance. And so we built all of those costumes.
I was actually going to ask about that. If you had to kind of make things work for the choreography, yeah,
and the movement.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, and you need multiples because dancers get sweaty and things can rip, and main cast and all that stuff. So I have, several of each thing in their closets.
That's cool. Yeah. All right. Well, we have some fun holiday questions we like to end our interview with.
Okay.
First question, what is your favorite holiday drink?
Mm.
Eggnog or hot cocoa or
Like a mulling, like a wine, a cinnamony wine. Call
yeah.
that like
Yeah, like a mulled wine.
a mulled wine.
Sounds good. Okay. What is your favorite holiday cookie or treat?
Mm. The Trader Joe's chocolate covered marshmallows.
Good one. Okay. What is your favorite Christmas song or carol?
Um, Old Lang.
Sign.
This-
Yeah. New Year's. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. What is your favorite classic Christmas movie? I know it's tough.
Home Alone.
You wouldn't believe, I would say probably 80% of interviewees say Home Alone. It is by far the most popular answer.
It's the greatest movie ever. You can't deny the greatest
Yeah.
movie ever.
I love it. Yeah, no, it's really good. I have a great fondness for it as well. It's one of the first comedies that I
Your
ever.
favorite? What's your favorite movie?
Well,
Oh.
Home Alone would be pretty high up there because I have a great nostalgia attached with it. But I love Charlie Brown Christmas. That's one of my favorites.
It's so good.
It's so good.
So
But
good.
I'm a big sucker for Christmas Carol, and it was really funny because this year, I mean, not only Spirited, but we had just a whole bunch of different. Every Christmas Carol was on everyone's mind on the various
Interesting.
networks. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was another one on a Hallmark channel that was about the ghosts, which was really random.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's called Ghosts of Christmas Always. It was really good.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I'll check that out.
Yeah, it was a
Thank
really
you.
good one. Good script, good story, and and then on Netflix there's an animated Christmas Carol. It's just been in the air this year, which is fun.
I wonder why. That's cool.
Yeah, I know. All right. This will be interesting. So, which is your favorite, Scrooge or the Grinch?
The Grinch.
Okay, good. Which you like better, clear lights or colored?
Colored.
Okay. Would you rather be in a snowball fight or build a snowman?
Build a snowman.
Okay. Would you consider yourself a good gift wrapper or not?
Nope.
Oh, interesting. I was thinking you would say yes. Because you're putting all the clothes together. I think you'd be a good gift wrapper.
You would think.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't translate to paper.
Very good. All right. Last question. Do you have an ugly Christmas sweater?
Definitely.
Yeah. What's your ugliest Christmas sweater?
It's like yellow and fluffy and really like has like a dropped shoulder like from the 80s, and yeah, it's hideous.
Good. I would expect a good ugly Christmas sweater from a designer.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, very good. You answered all the questions.
Awesome. Thanks, Rachel.
Well, thank you so much. And do you have social media or anything like that you want to share? Or
yeah, sure. My Instagram is at erinbenach.com.
we'll have that all in the description, and hope you have a very Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Rachel. You too. Happy holidays.
We'd like to thank Erin for coming on the podcast. This was so much fun to get to meet her and hear about her work on Spirited, and let us know what you think about all the things we talked about in the comments section or on Twitter. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. That really helps us a lot. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. Check that out. Also, if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group, which is a lot of fun and a great way to help support the podcast. And we have the merch store, which you can get tons of fun designs from us, festive designs. Please take a look. And thanks so much to Erin, and wish you all a Merry Christmas. Bye, everyone.